Right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Another installment of our webinar series, and today is probably the most exciting one that we've had, one I'm most excited about. One of my personal favorites, our friends at Peter Millar. First and foremost, a lot of you guys that have come to these webinars so far know that we do have my good buddy Nick working the chat feature here. Any questions that anyone may have during the webinar can throw them in the chat, and Nick will be sure to answer those as soon as possible. Also, at the conclusion, everyone will get a email with a recording of the webinar and an opportunity to book a consultation with a Peter Millar expert here at Parsons Kellogg, which of course we're always excited to talk to our customers. We will be offering a free giveaway as well for anyone who does book a consultation after the webinar, and as a token of our appreciation, we are going to give away 5 Peter Millar $100 crown cards. So we're going to pick those randomly after, and we'll notify if you've been picked. Without further ado, the man to my right, good friend, Mike Bowers, the Vice President of Special Markets at Peter Millar. We're incredibly fortunate to have Mike here with us in the Parsons Kellogg showroom, and we have a lot of fun topics we're going to go over today. But first, I want to obviously introduce Mike, and we'll get it going.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to be in front of all of you. You know, it was interesting when I was talking to Andrew earlier about kind of what we wanted to talk about and what we were going to cover. And obviously, we're going to cover some products here that I think are applicable to the space, tell some stories about those products, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. But I think it's really important. You know, to me, I was asked earlier today, actually, what makes Peter Millar unique, you know, compared to other clothing vendors or other brands in general. And thinking about it, I mean, it's really what makes Peter Millar unique in this space is really the approach and why we do the way we do things. Peter Millar is authentic to itself in a lot of different ways. When you talk to a lot of brands, most often one of the questions that comes up is, where does your inspiration come from? You know, with Peter Millar, it's very clearly inspiration comes from our end consumer. You know, we look at our end consumers and what they wear, the items in their closet. We look at what they're wearing that is Peter Millar, what they love. We're looking at what they're wearing that maybe not Peter Millar. How can we service their needs better? You know, really to create this cult following of Peter Millar fans that are across the country and frankly across the world now at this point. So, you know, today we're going to go through some of the products that have really led us to become known as Peter Millar. But all these products, like the one common thread you're going to see throughout all of them, they're all designed with the end consumer in mind, with versatility in mind, which is very important. It's very important when you're servicing a large clientele and a diverse clientele as well. You know, items that speak to everybody, maybe not always during the same occasion, but speak to everybody from a different purpose and a different end use. So that to me is what makes Peter Millar truly unique, is the fact that we're almost designing backwards. We're almost starting with, what are we targeting? Who are we targeting? Why would they wear this product, and what are they looking for out of this product? And then designing backwards in order to create a product that allows us to keep our promise to the end consumer.
Yeah, which was really interesting because Mike presented to our sales team earlier this afternoon. And of course, if you look at Peter Millar's collection, there's these beautiful fashion pieces. And, you know, if you look at any seasonal drop, there's these beautiful suede coats or, you know, whatever it may be, which, you know, obviously is designed to elevate Peter Millar in the marketplace, and they're statement pieces. You know, for us in the corporate marketplace, and I think you, Mike, would attest being at Peter Millar for 18 years, which is, you know, in itself amazing. But it is the essential collection that we at Parsons Kellogg, we service our corporate buyers mostly with that essentials collection. It's what we stock here in the warehouse. We get it out to everyone pretty quickly. But what's really cool to hear from you guys is, you know, you have those foundational styles that you've had for years and years, and they're timeless. It's why we stock them here. It's why we do incredibly well with them. But of course, what's important to note is that, you know, we have more than that. There's a much broader collection, as everyone can see behind you, of the new fall 25 styles, which will be dropping soon, that, you know, we can provide corporate buyers as well. But those timeless pieces, it's interesting. It still accounts for the most of our business.
You know, it's crazy because it's like people often ask me, like, What are the essential pieces of someone's wardrobe? And when we look at it, a lot of the essential pieces of things that you wear repeatedly, they're your favorite pieces. Now, we all have those sweater maybe you can wear twice a fall before people start talking about you. You know, or there's a sport coat that maybe is a little wild, maybe it's a little too pink that you wear once a spring. But really those pieces that are the foundation of a wardrobe. And the thing I love is those are important at Peter Millar. You know, they're called essentials for a couple of reasons. The first reason is we have them in stock. And, you know, Parsons Catalog does as well. They're key pieces that we love to have in stock because we know people are going to go back to them. But really where the name came from is they're essential to your wardrobe. You know, I look at it and a lot of these pieces we're going to go over and show you. I mean, I have 20 to 25 of each of them in my wardrobe because they're what you keep coming back to. And they're kind of fan favorites, and they've become fan favorites over the years because, honestly, because they work.
Yeah, I mean, every time I come home from where I'm at, if I'm playing a great golf club, which I do not need another navy quarter zip in my wardrobe. Having said that, another navy Perth, which everyone's gonna find today or look at today, finds its way into my closet with another logo on it, and my wife goes crazy. Why you have another navy polo? So, don't worry, that's what I like. I like essentials. I like stuff that's classic and clean. And again, I go back to it. It's why we do so well with the navies and the cottage blues and the white and the light grays. They're so timeless and they're classic, and the fit is amazing. So what's really fun that we have been doing these webinars as well. I always like to see the product on people. I think it's a great way of seeing how certain garments drape. You know, if the question is, oh, is it tailor fit? Is it classic fit? Most of the essentials that we carry here at Parsons Kellogg and that Peter Millar produces is a nice classic cut. And Mike, of course, you can speak to that, but we're going to have some of the interns. You know, we have a pretty awesome summer intern program here at Parsons Kellogg, and I drag them in here and get them modeling some stuff. So the first thing we're going to talk about that, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, you actually named this iconic piece, which is it your top style ever?
The Perth, I imagine that you're speaking of. And yeah, but the Perth is uniquely Peter Millar. You know, the Perth was actually created. First Perth was made in 2011, and then we didn't go to market with it until actually 2012. And it takes a little while to get it right. We knew we had something when we got that first prototype in. We had no idea it was going to become what it has become over the years. I think, you know, over the years, we have had the Perth that's come in over 50 different colors throughout. Now, we've always kept navy, and we've always kept cottage blue, which used to be called Carolina blue, by the way, but we want to make it just a little more commercial. We're based in Raleigh. We want to make it a little more commercial for the rest of the country.
The Duke fans.
The Duke fans, basically. But the Perth has been a staple and no doubt the essential of the Peter Millar wardrobe. I mean, I flew into Providence yesterday and I saw 5 Perths in the airport, you know, in Providence.
And it's a small airport.
And it's a small airport.
It's a small airport.
It's a small airport, and it wasn't the RDU airport either, so we weren't cheating. But, you know, seeing them around the country and the versatility of how people wear the Perth, I think is what makes it so great.
So let me get some of the guys in here to model off. And the great thing about the Perth too, there is a compatible piece in the ladies side. So we'll get some of the first in here right now. I'll show you guys some of the colors that it's offered in. Come on in. Let's do it. Stand right here, guys. So the first, we have some of our interns here modeling off a few pieces. But the cool thing about the Perth too, it does come in a flat colorway, and it comes in more of a melange. There's more of a heathered look.
So over the years with the Perth, a couple things. One of the things we've always kept, so the Perth has what's called a reverse coil zipper here, which actually was brought to market by a lot of ski brands early on. We were one of the first to bring it to golf just because, frankly, we liked the way it looked. You know, and with the women's version, we have a slightly different zipper, slightly a little bit more feminine. You know, as Andrew mentioned, the Perth comes in a variety of different flavors and colors, but over the years, we've kind of done some different things with it. We have the classic black colors here, which are really the staples or essentials, if you will, of your wardrobe. And then over the years, some of the colors just look better when they're heathered than they do when they're flat like that. So with a gray, if you think of a classic kind of sweatshirt gray type color, we actually use two different kinds of polyester to achieve this heathered look. And then as we've done that, we've come more to greens, more other colors like that that look better heathered. Once again, also available in the ladies version as well. You know, over the years too, with the Perth, we've done various stripes. We've done various prints and different things that you'll see as part of kind of the seasonal line. But really where we find the volume and sell the essentials are in these whites, the navies, and the grays. It's one of those pieces that if you give it to somebody, there's always an occasion they can wear it. Some people wear it on a walk. Some people wear it to play golf. You can wear it to a baseball game. You know, you can wear it with jeans. You can wear it with khakis. You can wear it with shorts. So it's one of those gifts too. And if you give a navy purse to somebody that already has one, it's okay. They're not going to notice. They're going to want it and they're going to wear it as well.
I think it's important to note too, Mike, that Elijah here is wearing the Jubilee polo underneath. Clyde is wearing the solid polo. We also have the ladies' white polo there, which I think is great to talk about too. Just some of the features and attributes of the polo and obviously summer comfort.
Yeah, summer comfort. So there's another name that's become synonymous with Peter Millar. You know, it's kind of how it was created and how we came up with that. I think some people could probably guess. But what summer comfort was is we didn't want to call something like Peter Millar Tech. We didn't want to become a tech company because we still value, you know, our natural fibers programs as well, our beautiful sweaters and our cashmere where the company actually has its heritage. So summer comfort for us has become two things. Number one, it represents the fabric here, which is four-way stretch fabric. The one thing to note, a couple really key things about the summer comfort polo that make it different, you know, than other technical polos. First of all, the buttons. Buttons on a summer comfort polo are actually made of troca shell, which is wild when you think about it. So we're actually, you know, fish and wildlife, we are paying fish and wildlife tax on a synthetic polo, which is pretty crazy, but they're the best buttons in the world for this product. And that's one thing we do. It's like, let's think about it. We want this to look as great as any natural fiber polo that might be in your closet. The other thing too is seam retention. You know, when you wear a synthetic polo, so often when people are taking a golf swing or doing any kind of athletic activity, you actually hear the crack of the seams when they get ripped apart. The one thing we do with the summer comfort polo is the seams are actually sewn at full expansion so that they're ready for movement. They're ready for action. So it's interesting. Not only do we have the summer comfort polo, it's the best technical polo in the market, right down to the stitching. If you look at the level of the stitching, the detail on this and the sharpness of it. One of the things we pride ourselves upon is that you can wear this polo and nobody knows you're wearing a synthetic polo, but you're enjoying the comfort of it. And I think that's very important for the Peter Millar customer.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. These guys are going to exit stage right and come back in. We're going to talk about a few other styles that have become kind of synonymous with the Essential and Icon collection. One of which that I think is 4 or 5 years old, but has kind of taken on a life of its own is pine hoodie. Yeah, the pine hoodie is another one that every time I go somewhere and I come back, my wife's like, "Why even another hoodie?" But I like wearing hoodies on the golf course. It fits perfectly. Now you guys offer it, you know, again, that flat colorway and more of a heather look too. But we do have the pine hoodie that I wanted to have some of the interns come in. So hold tight. I'll get those guys to come in here. All right.
So the pine hoodie, you are right. It's like kind of caught us by surprise. I think the whole world was a little bit caught by surprise by how many hoodies we actually see in the marketplace right now. You know, obviously Peter Millar has a golf heritage. Golf is a huge part of who we are as a brand. And really you started to see about 4 to 5 years ago, hoodies show up in a big way in the golf marketplace. Well, the way we wanted to respond was not by doing a hoodie that you would see, you know, kind of from an athletic company. What we wanted to create was a hoodie that was commensurate with the respect and the history of the golf game. And frankly, classy enough that the Peter Millar customer and the Peter Millar fan could wear it and wear it in the variety of those occasions. So with the pine hoodie, you're going to notice a few things in both the women's and the men's version. Very clean lines. That is the first thing we wanted to do. not overly athletic as far as the seams. You will notice, especially in the men's, we did a slight raglan seam here. The reason why, it makes it appear a little more ergonomic than a set-in sleeve, and it makes it a little bit more active in that way. If you could turn around for a second. One of the things we also did subtly is we logoed the pine hoodie on the back right with the Peter Millar crown seal. I think it's important, one of the things with ours, and especially our essentials program, is we're trying to create pieces that are timeless. In a piece that you're going to wear, and a hoodie that you would wear, in a sense, for the next 5 to 10 years of your life. The pine hoodie, we've accomplished that. As Andrew mentioned, it comes in a variety of things, and some of these stripes are really cool. Speak a little bit, kind of skew a little bit younger, I think, than the solids do in a lot of ways. But once again, the two types of polyester creating a heathered effect, and then we've done a yarn dyed stripe here, both in a blue on blue and a gray on gray, and there will be more to come as far as that yarn dyed stripe goes. The pine has become very important. The same way I talk about a Perth and the fact that somebody could be wearing it to the airport, could be wearing it to play golf, could be wearing it walking their dog, whatever it might be. The pine is important for us to keep that same versatility and to give our customers another option alongside the quarter zip that they could wear as a hoodie. So the pine hoodie truly is an essential, albeit a younger one than the Perth product.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it. And then we're gonna have some other interns come on in. One piece which we're really excited about is Ella. I'm going to give you that one right here. Elijah's back. So two of the pieces, again, that we have sold a lot of, and we haven't actually necessarily stocked, but we are going to start stocking them. One of which I think is probably the most popular women's piece is the floor, which again is a program that's kind of taken off.
For sure.
That Ella has in her hand right now. And the Flora comes in navy and soft white, but I'll let Mike talk about the Flora program a little bit.
So the Flora was kind of a labor of love for Sarah, our women's designer back home. The Perth obviously offered in both a female and a male version, so you can make it easy for gifting and gifting together. The Flora speaks a little bit more feminine as far as what the lines are. And if you can see the bottom here, it actually, with the chunkier hem, with the split V sides, as well as the exposed zipper, it speaks a little bit more to what fashion is in women's wear today. Still an essential, the ways that it comes in with the colors it comes in. And this fabric's just incredible. The fabric used on the Flora. A men's version of the Flora would probably not work. We have played with it a little bit at home, but the fabric's just a little bit not for what a man would be looking for. But for a women's piece and one that you would love as for a women's event, the Flora hits a home run every time.
And then one of my favorites as well is, I probably have this in 3 or 4 colors in my closet, is the Essex Mass. I probably have more than that, that's true. I'm being generous. But this is another essential that definitely more of an elevated piece for us, but we have done so incredibly well with this piece. Comes in multiple colors, but this is the Essex Vest.
Yeah, the Essex. So the Essex has been around a long time. Peter Millar's history, although golf is a core foundation part of who we are, we do have a healthy business outside of golf, whether it be in a specialty retail men's shop, whether it be in an outdoor store occasionally, or whether it be in some large scale department stores as well. So we have customers in our retail stores, not to mention, but we have customers that, once again, we talk about the closet and outfitting the whole closet. This is an item that a gentleman can wear throughout the fall, through the winter. It's one of those pieces that's dressed up, but also it's essential enough that you could wear this navy vest a few times a week and nobody's going to look at you funny either. So it's really a nice combination of that, taking it a little bit more retail and a little bit more lifestyle. Now, not to say I don't see people playing golf in an Essex Vest. I think you definitely will, probably still here in New England, even more so than more than Raleigh for sure. Yeah. But the Essex Vest, it's become a true icon of what we are. And a great example of not all of our icons are developed and come from golf. Right?
I'm going to borrow you for a minute. So the cool thing that we do have, just to give everyone a preview, that's a little snippet of what we stock here in our warehouse, what we do incredibly well with, some of the foundational pieces from Peter Millar that Mike has described. But we do have some new pieces coming in for this fall, most of which is coming in between August and October. Any Parsons Kellogg Peter Millar expert can certainly help you guys out with identifying when the item is coming in. But the first is I'm going to grab these two here, is the Fuse vest, which is going to come in navy and black. I'm wearing the Gale Gray, but we are going to stock these in navy and black, which has been an iconic piece for you guys as well.
The Fuse is one that we've seen pick up momentum. If you think about it, it is quilted and it has a fiber fill to keep you warm, similar to the Essex vest. It does, but it does speak a little bit and skew a little bit younger. You know, in some ways it takes an embroidery a little bit better as well because it is not quilted on the front, but a great combination. You know, if you're looking for something a little bit less lifestyle, unless I'm going out to dinner, something that speaks a little bit more golf, great vest for that.
And it fits great. I mean, I'm a medium. It fits me great. I'm about 6 feet tall, 180, 185 pounds, depending on what I ate the night before. But again, I have a few of these. It fits me great and I love it. And I love the fact that you guys continue to, it evolves. Like I know last year you guys had the cross stitch on it. This year it's more of a flat front.
Sure.
It has the bottom zipper. Again, you know, when you're sitting down, it bunches up. You can kind of zip it up a little bit so it doesn't crunch on you. So that's a new vest we have coming in for the men's side. Another awesome piece that we have coming in on the ladies is the Dunes jacket that Ella's wearing right now. It is also coming in the vest. So we'll cut the sleeves off and it'll be a vest. But I'll let Mike talk about the Dunes collection a little bit.
It's really the whole Dunes collection. And forever, you know, I think it had been 12 years since we had a lightweight jacket that we really felt comfortable with in so many different situations. So the Dunes family extends to both genders, as well as it extends in a vest, as well as a full zip jacket. What we were trying to do here is create a jacket that's light enough that you can play golf in it, or you could do an outdoor activity. A lot of people run in it, but also weather resistant enough. Now, it's not seam sealed, so it's not completely waterproof, but the fabric actually is. So the fabric will bead off and run off on this, but obviously without being seam sealed, it's not going to be labeled as a rain jacket. What I call it is like the Dunes jacket will get you through any conditions where if you're not insane to be outside, basically. It'll get you through a quick rain shower if you're playing golf, or if you're running through a quick storm or biking through a quick storm. And the style of it, it's destined to become an icon. Classic style comes in classic colors. It's the kind of navy vest, the kind of navy jacket you can throw on every day. Once again, wear it anywhere, which I love about it.
And then I'm going to step in for the full zip option for the men's. We have the merge jacket, which again, you guys have had for 2-3 years, but it's a piece that continues to evolve, similar to the Fuse last year. It had the cross stitch, now you have the flat front. But again, just an awesome all-weather jacket.
Yeah, and it's a hybrid, really, is what it is. So it's a little bit of nod to fashion. What we're seeing in the marketplace and what we've been playing around with at home is kind of mixing fabrics to create a different effect. You know, color block was popular for a long time, but now using kind of two different fabrics, one that has a fiber fill in the front and then one that's actually a flat knit, to create warmth along the core, but allow versatility of movement down the seams and the arms. So once again, another great golf jacket. I think everything we do, kind of, it goes back to golf and it can be used for golf for the most part. But like, it's one of those where, can you wear jeans with it? Yeah. Can you dress it down? Yes. Can you dress it up? Yes. And that's another hallmark of Peter Millar, is the versatility throughout wearing occasions.
And to give everyone a little bit of a sneak peek, the Dunes jacket and Dunes vest will be coming in men's for next year.
Yeah.
For us. The other cool thing, just to touch on, because, you know, for the corporate marketplace, you know, we are embroidering, we're decorating. We have amazing decoration facilities that, because of the uniqueness and the, what would I call it? The delicate nature of Peter Millar fabric, we've really, you know, nailed down and perfected our embroidery operations and facilities, and making sure that all of our facilities that we use have been tried, true, and tested on Peter Millar fabric. So all of the pieces that we've shown you today take embroidery really well.
Yeah. It's one thing that's really important to us as well. I mean, with our heritage being in golf, you know, obviously we do a lot of embroidery for golf clubs and things. So all these fabrics are very much researched so that they can take that embroidery needle without degrading the fabric, and making sure that it still withstands throughout the lifetime of the garment. I mean, if anything, it's one of the biggest thrills you have is seeing somebody that's wearing a 10-year-old shirt, because it means it made it through 10 years, you know, and that makes me feel.
Yeah. I'm going to stop torturing Ella here. You get out of here. Thank you, Ella. It's a wild note that Mike is incredibly humble, but Mike has worked the Masters 25 years.
This was my 25th year. I'm dating myself.
Which is
I started very young.
And that was so crazy, walking around Augusta, seeing, it's always a thrill for us too. You know, if us as employees go to the US Open or we go to the Masters or another big event and we walk around and we see Purse or Jubilee polos or Sella polos or Essex vests or whatever, you know, that essential product is, and it has a company logo, we're like, oh, you probably did that. And most of the time we can identify, be like, yep, that was Nick's order, or that was Brad's orders. You know, it's a really cool thing that we can do. And we take a ton of pride in it. Obviously, we're incredibly fortunate to represent Peter Millar in the corporate marketplace. It's a partnership that, you know, it's been around for roughly 10 years. And we have a lot of fun stuff ahead. You know, obviously our operation's growing, and our partnership with Peter Millar is certainly in a great spot. We're excited about it.
No, and it's great, and it's very important to us as well. You know, one of the things when he mentions, you know, going to some of these larger scale golf events, you know, it's always very flattering to Peter Millar, I know, to have these events and to have these companies and to have these customers, whether it be a golf course or whether it be a brand, want to be associated with us by putting their logo on our products. You know, it's something we don't take lightly, and the relationships we don't take lightly, because at the end of the day, you know, it's a relationship business. It really is. And, you know, as I said at the beginning, it's about, with our products, we look at selling our products to a consumer as a brand promise to that consumer. You know, that it's the right thing for them and that they're going to enjoy that product. You know, and we've been lucky enough to do that for a long time, and working with you guys has helped us reach a lot more people. So thank you for that.
Before closing, there's one item I want to show everyone. We're teasing it, but I'm going to do it.
I don't know what you're going to do now.
I'm going to grab the backpack.
Oh, okay.
So within collaboration with our friends at Peter Millar, we wanted to come up with a backpack that we could service the corporate marketplace with. So this fully custom backpack that we're doing with Peter Millar, we're really excited about. But we have coming in, I believe, in October. And we're excited to have it in. We're going to have it in-house. We're going to be able to turn it pretty quickly. Why I'm showing this to everyone. Obviously, if you know, everyone's got holiday events and gift giving coming up. These are available for pre-book. We can start taking orders for these right now. Reserve your units for Q4 holiday gift giving events, whatever it may be, because no one else will be able to get these.
No.
These are ours.
Well, there is one thing I'll tell you. I've seen people around our office carry it. So that means, number one, how well made it is,
Yes,
and how much it's desirable that I've seen people that work for Peter Millar and Raleigh with them. But also how excited we are about it as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we can build on, and, you know, the person to put in, when the people that work with there want to use it, I think that's great.
I love it. Well, again, everyone will get a recording, an email with a recording after. I will have a link to book a consultation to redeem your free gift. If you have any questions about the webinar, what we talked about today, a Peter Millar expert here at Parsons Kellogg can certainly help you out. Also, the gift cards, we will do a random draw after the webinar. So if you do hear from us, you won a $100 gift card from Peter Millar, which is awesome. Thanks again to Mike for joining us from Peter Millar. Let's go to a Sox game.
Yeah,
Taking Mike to Fenwick for the first time, which is awesome.
looking forward to it.
So I appreciate it again, and thank you.